Hey guys. I don't remember how to start one of these. It's been a quick minute since I made the last YouTube video. We're gonna take this moment. There's been something that's been on my mind. Well, I want to start something new on the channel. How about I start a new series called In My Feelings, because man, there's a lot of stuff that I just want to get off my chest at times. And well, this happens to be one of the most recent things that has happened. What is Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, and many other Californian people, they're all making the decision of moving out of California, including my family. So let's talk about it. About a month ago, exactly on August 29th, my parents made the decision of moving out of California and now moving over to what is Missouri. It was not a very easy decision. As a matter of fact, it was many years in the making, and they always debated with me. They saw what was the economic problems and other hardships that California residents faced, and they just thought maybe it wasn't worth it. But you know, we've lived here in California our whole life. Since they migrated to this country, they have always lived in California, and I don't know anything about any other state like actually living there. I only know about living in California. Went to first grade, all of elementary, all of middle school, all of high school, and I did college here as well. So I lived basically my whole life in California. So to just pack up and leave is a big decision. It's not something that's very easy, and a lot of California residents are making that decision and moving elsewhere. Now, why is that happening? Why are a lot of people, who've lived here their whole life, they'll tell you that California is one of the most beautiful states in all of the country. They'll tell you that here we have some of the most beautiful lights, some of the best weather, some of the greatest sceneries. And here in California, you can find places like San Francisco, where you'll find spectacles like the Golden Gate Bridge, where you'll be able to look out at the whole sea. You'll be able to come to California and go to Santa Monica, see the beaches all over there. They're beautiful. The piers. You'll be able to go up to the mountains, be able to find a nice place to hike, or you go over to Big Bear for a nice camping trip. You find every different kind of atmosphere here. But why are people, after hyping California up so much that they're saying that it is a beautiful place, why is it that now they're deciding to move other places? Well, let's talk about it. Like I said, I was hearing out my parents and seeing their struggles and what they were talking about, and I almost kind of didn't understand it, because when you're with your parents, it's kind of not the same like once you're independent. So like I would hear about the problems, about the high renting and taxes and all that stuff, and I never really understood it. But since I did, so I mean now I ended up making the tough decision to stay. They moved out to Missouri, but I'm still here in California by myself now. Now my little brothers and my parents are over there. I'm still here. And well, I wanted to talk about, well, first of all, the reasons why many people are leaving, including my parents, but also kind of why I decided to stay. Now, the biggest reason that people are leaving is probably not too difficult to figure out, is because of money. It's because money is the thing that drives the world. You hear that all the time. Money is the reason why all of these people are moving out. Now, if I'm gonna, say 3 examples: taxes, housing, gas prices. Just to throw that out there. For example, taxes. Right now, California has a state income tax of 13.3%, which is already the highest in the nation. It's very crazy to think that they, tax their people on the money they make so highly. If you go to somewhere like Las Vegas, Nevada, right there, they don't have no state income tax. Right there, you keep all of your money. You only pay, the federal tax. But here in California, you pay that 13.3%. And now the craziest part is that California recently is trying to pass a new bill in where that tax of 13.3, which is high, is gonna try to bump it up to what is 16.8%, which is even more, which is crazy. Depending on how much you make, you might be looking to pay approximately half straight into taxes. That's crazy. A lot of people, when they see that, they're like, that's ridiculous. That everything that we work for, California, just for saying we live in California, they'll take 13.3, possibly 16.8% in the future. And then on the other hand, you have something such as housing. Housing is probably one of the most expensive here in California than anywhere else in the nation. Right here in California, you'll find places that are like studios, and in those places you charge around $1,450 here in California. That's what you can find that going for, unless you've been living in that place for a while before everything started rising. But if you're looking right now, if you start trying to find a place, you're not gonna find anything cheap. A 1 or 2 bedroom apartment, you're gonna find probably around $1,800 to $2,000. Imagine that. That's crazy. Right now, my parents, they got approved for a house over in Missouri with payments that they be leaving them is about $842. Imagine that. That's ridiculous. Compared to here, that's nothing. That's half of what someone would be paying for an apartment, but they're getting a full-on house. That's crazy. When you start thinking about, you look at the movies and then you start saying, wow, I can't wait till I'm 18 and I move out of my parents' house. That's possible anywhere else in the country. Here in California, that's not really possible. The way you could do it is that if you house hack, meaning that you go with a friend or another family member, then you say, hey, let's get an apartment together, let's have a bunch of roommates, let's all chip in for the rent, and then we'll be paying it off like that. That way we can get ahead and have our own apartment. Another way is, unless you make a good amount of money, financial advisors, they tell you if you want to be able to live by yourself, your rent or living expenses should be approximately the 30 to 40% of your income. Imagine that, 30 to 40%, which is of a place of $2,000. That means that you have to be making at least around $6,000 a month in order to be able to afford that comfortably and to be able to be financially safe. That's ridiculous. That amount, those margins are very high. Those margins really are difficult for anybody to pay off. Another thing is gas prices. Here in California, it's around $3. I don't know if anybody is watching this from a different state. Eventually, maybe it gets to somebody, but you don't let me lie. It's around $1 or $2 maybe, but $3, that's ridiculous. I remember this one time, went out to Las Vegas, drove out there. Here in California, the total amount was like $60. But then I remember when I went to the gas station in Vegas, I gave them a $40, 220s, which is $40, and then they gave me back. They're like, oh no, just $20, because I ended up filling up the tank with just 20. So they gave me back 20. So I was like, wow, that's crazy. That's crazy, because not only did we make it back here to the valley, but as well there was some gas left over. That's how much we were able to receive. You think that here, because something that's very, very big is the money, and we raise up the prices of everything. You might think that, well, it wouldn't be so difficult, but as a matter of fact, it is. It's very difficult to be able to live in a place where, you might be saying, well, here in California, we have the highest minimum, but as well, we have the highest property taxes, as well as highest gas prices, highest food prices. It's just very difficult to be able to live here comfortably. The majority of people that I know are living paycheck to paycheck, literally meaning they have no savings. If something were to happen to them, that's it for them. And that's why a lot of people are literally running out of California. I mentioned Elon Musk, Joe Rogan. These guys, they're just saying, it's just California, it's too expensive. And they charge you too much. What are you going to do? It's charging you this ridiculous amount. You make so much money, but then what's the point of making it if half of it is going to be taken away? It's almost discouraging. It's almost like, man, I don't really want to. And they'll tell you the reason why you pay so much for taxes is because there's a housing problem, because there's a lot of homeless people. And guess what? And that enters into the second point. Homeless problem or overpopulation. Let's say it like that. As this pandemic has gotten worse, not only has it gotten more difficult to social distance here in California, but it's also, brought more awareness to people that there is a problem that we haven't really addressed here. When you talk about California and you see how the amazing places that we have here, but when you go there, you'll find that they're packed full of stuff. You'll find that there's a lot of people. Talk about the freeway. You get in the freeway, the 101 freeway at around 5 p.m. They're going to be in there for a good hour, an hour and a half. It's just ridiculous. The drive to places, it's traffic many times. We have to use applications like Waze in order to try to find the place where it's least packed. Trying to social distance when there's so many people everywhere you go. You go to a grocery store, for example, and then right there, they do a good job, I believe, in with setting the mark lines on the floors to be 6 feet apart, which is great and all. However, when you go to the aisles and then you're rubbing shoulders with like 6-7 people in a single aisle, it's just, you just feel very uncomfortable. You just don't feel like, wow, I don't feel that protected here. There's just a lot of people. And this is not even like talking about the homeless. This is just people in general. There's a lot of people. I've been to places where in like 2 to 3 bedroom houses, there's about like 7 or 8 or to 9 people living there all at once, and it's like stuffed in there. But as well, overpopulation. Everybody just crams into each other. They're all together right there. Now, when I mentioned about the homeless, now in no way, in no shape or form do we discriminate someone according to the color of their skin, according to their financial hardships or their state of life. We don't do that. We look at the statistics on what's happened. Now, if you go to any freeway on the underpass, you'll see that there's a bunch of tents. You go to places such as Echo Park, you'll find that there's a bunch of tents all over the place. You find that there are a lot more homeless people now than there were back then. And of course, housing prices does have a factor to play into it, but as well as mental illness. But I see plenty of homeless people around here. The thing is, you start looking around and wow, it doesn't really surprise you anymore. Like how crazy to see like an open needle on the floor, and it doesn't surprise you. It doesn't baffle you. It's crazy to think that many people are accustomed to seeing this kind of way of life of people, but that's because so many homeless people are facing many issues. You don't really even know how to react sometimes when they're coming to you, because you don't know how they're gonna react. I've seen very, very nice people out on the streets, and it's very heartbreaking. People who honestly do have great character. And then there's as well people who do suffer from drug abuse, from alcohol abuse, and they, physically do have problems. And you see that they cause fear in people. They make it so that other people are like, man, I don't know how to feel. You've seen people who they yell at each other. A guy, the other day, I was driving down the street, and I saw a guy peeing right there, just in the middle of the street, and I was like, wow, like that's how we are now. That's where we live now. When you talk about why this is a problem, we give our taxes to help them, but they're not being helped. As a matter of fact, since 2010, there has been so many more people that have came out and being homeless. Approximately in 2020, the official account that you do a quick Google search, you'll find this, of homeless people is approximately 151,278 homeless people. That's just the ones that have been counted. Imagine that, 151,000 people in California. That's ridiculous. That's an insane amount, of people that live out on the streets that don't have the means to protect themselves, and when the weather changes, and when where to change properly, where to have proper living. I feel like that's something that we gotta all attribute to. But then we give more in taxes, but nothing's done. More of what's incorrect. So then that enters into the other part, into what is the poor management of what is the governors. Now, I don't want to I don't want to go too far into this because I don't really feel like it's my position. I'm no politic, I'm no debater, I'm no intellectual to be saying that, oh, you know, the way that the California is being run is terrible and that we are, you know, no, I don't want to talk about that because frankly, I'm not the person who's going to resolve this. I'm not. I'm just sharing from my experience. And I've known that a lot of times that California is a wonderful state. It speaks for itself. But the people running it, it's like they kind of make it a little unpleasing. It's very disheartening to say something like that. We talk about places such as Disneyland, right? There's Disneyland, there's Disney World. What's the difference between the two? One's open right now, one's not. Huh? But why? I mean, Florida, there's tons of people there. There's tons of people in Florida, but they're open and they haven't been no outbreak over there. They've taken the precautions necessary in order to maintain the health and the safety of everybody. While here, they don't even want to try. They're like, no, you know, we know that there's way too many people here and we're just not even going to try. They don't even try. So California's been closed. I mean, Disneyland's been closed. And I mean, sure, I mean, I can live without going to Disneyland, going to Six Flags. That's not a problem for me. But it's just like, these are issues, you know, that's just like the bottom of the barrel, frankly. There's greater issues in the sense of businesses and how if you're a public business, California appoints a board to you. There's so many more things that go into that. But frankly, it's something that many people do take into consideration and do think that it's necessary to talk about. And another thing, which is probably the final thing, is it's wildfires and earthquakes. Across the United States, we've faced many issues, such as hurricanes, such as tornadoes. Don't know when was the last time we got hit by a tsunami, but tsunamis are possible. You know, there's many other things that can happen. However, here in California, what we're infamous for is earthquakes and wildfires. We get both of them, and frankly, some at the same time. The saddest part is when somebody's family and somebody's house, their livelihood, gets set up in flames, and then they have no way of, you know, recouping that loss unless the insurance and they go through the whole process. But you know, you have valuable possessions, you lose that. You go through an earthquake and you find out that now your foundation is cracked, and that's going to take out, you know, thousands of dollars, you know, out of your bank account in order to fix that. And it's very tough because it's stuff that you can't really you don't plan for. You can prepare for them, but it's very difficult to resist them, especially, you know, once something big happens. And now a lot of people, they made the decision, you know, using this as an argument, like they want to go somewhere else. For example, my family, they wanted to move to Missouri because, hey, you know, there's no wildfires happening in Missouri. The week that they left, the week after, a huge wildfire happened here in California. And then like they started thinking, wow, we got out just in time. Sometimes, you know, once you're feeling oppressed, like by something that you really can't control, you always see the grass greener on the other side. Whatever you might want to apply that to, it always tends to be that way. You know, you always feel like, man, if I had this, if I was over there, if I would look like this, it's always, the grass is always greener on the other side. So like a lot of people use that as a reason to get out. Now, as you can tell, I didn't leave. I'm still here. Why did I decide to stay? Why didn't I go with my family? You know, I've heard both of these. I've heard, wow, you know, that's very brave of you, you know, to make that decision to stay here, to become independent. Wow, that's very brave of you. And then I've also heard like, wow, you don't love your family? Like you just stayed here? I've heard both, and you know, frankly, I mean, I can understand both remarks. The reason why I decided to stay compared to going with them, it had to do primarily with the independence and my growth. It might sound counterproductive. It might not sound very smart in my opinion, or in my case. Many might even call me foolish. And I can guarantee you whatever reasoning I might give you probably won't satisfy everybody, but I wanted to become independent. I wanted to say, I don't really depend on my parents anymore. I just turned 22. You know, I'm not old. I'm still very young, but I still have a lot more to go. But at the rate I'm going at, I'm never gonna become what I really want to become. And I feel like once you become independent and you don't have anybody to count on but on yourself, what happens is that you are in a sink or swim scenario. When your back is up against the wall and you're just like, hey, I either go forward or I'm done. You know, I've never wanted to be like, oh, you know, I'm gonna my back's against the wall. Well, I could always run to my parents. That's not the mentality that I see is gonna take me further. Sure, a lot of people take advantage of that, but I in my particular case, it just hasn't worked as well as I would like for it to have. I've, you know, here, like I said, I've lived with my parents to the moment that they left. Now I live by myself. I have roommates and everything. However, it's not I can really depend on anybody other than myself. At this point, if I fail because I failed, not because my parents didn't help me, not because anything. They gave me the best that they had, and now I'm gonna do whatever I can to go forward. You know, there's a lot of other factors. For example, there's my church, there's my other loved ones. You know, you build many relationships here. And then it's very difficult to just leave them. It's very hard to just, you know, say, okay, I'm out, peace. It's not very easy to do that. But I feel like it was the best choice for me. If I went over there, what was I gonna have over there? But other than like my immediate family, nothing really. Nothing. It'd be like starting from square one, which I'm not really willing to do. I believe that I'm gonna be able, if I'm gonna make it anywhere, I'm gonna make it here in California. As difficult as it may be, as challenging as every one of the things that I just proposed to you may be, I believe that if I'm gonna make it anywhere, I'm gonna make it here. What does that mean? I have long dreams. I have a lot of goals. I promise you. I can go a full hour just speaking about my dreams. I don't really want to do that though, but if I feel like I'm gonna make it anywhere, I'm gonna make it here. Now, this is just something that has been on my head for about a month and a half now, and I just really wanted to get it out. Now, I haven't made a video in about 4-5 months, and I've only had made like 2 prior videos. Hey, how about I start making some more YouTube videos? I'm gonna try to be consistent. This was the first episode of In My Feelings. Hope you guys enjoyed. Just wanted to give that quick little rant. Hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe for the next one, and I see you next time, guys.